Everyone, this little video here is meant to tell you everything you need to know about your book for world history. So first of all, you can see that I am in the course and I have clicked on the textbook button. When I get there, I can see a screenshot of what the landing page looks like when I log into Ed and access the book. You can also see in the screenshot, you also have the resources listed here. Now, some of these don't show up for you because you don't get the teacher guide, etc. But you do get a lot of this stuff. So in order to access the book, you are going to click on this link, which is going to take you to the login page. Now, typically, your username and password are going to be the same as your username and password for Blackboard. However, to verify that, you can simply click on the Student Logins app, which takes you to the Student Resource Center, which shows you what your login is for all of your books and any other software or websites that you have for your classes. So, once I click on that link, I'm going to get to the sign in page here. Now, you can see that I am currently signed into the School District of Waukesha. Now, when you do this for the first time, you're going to have to select that. So you're going to come to a page that says this. So you're going to click on District, and obviously you're going to start typing in Wisconsin, and click on that, and then start typing Waukesha, or you can simply scroll. But then you're going to select Waukesha School District. You will hit Next. And that is going to take you to where you do your username and password. So once you fill those in, you simply click sign in. The first time you do it, it may prompt you to agree to the terms and conditions and privacy policy. So do that so you can access your book. Once it loads, you will then see your modules for world history. Now, if you are enrolled in multiple classes that use this platform for textbooks, you may be able to switch between courses, right? So you'll see that with this drop-down menu here. And if for some reason a book shows up for a class that you're not even in, don't worry about it. Again, use this drop-down menu to go ahead and select world history. Now, instead of chapters, this book is set up using modules. So if we start with module 1, I can simply click on this picture, and you will see that there are some options that are available. You can go straight to the student ebook, or if I click on resources for lesson 1, a few things will pop up. Again, you will have fewer things because you have student access and not teacher access. But if I go back, I want to go ahead and view the student ebook. Might take a second for it to load. And so basically what you have here are the pages of a textbook in an interactive online format. All right, there's a couple cool things about this. First of all, you're going to scroll through and you see the essential question, which is how every module or chapter starts. And then you'll see that there are some interactive things. There's History Channel videos that are built in. Sometimes it's a snippet. Sometimes you'll get the full 50-minute segment. And so those are really cool to check out. You'll also see that there are built-in checks for understanding as you read the material. So after you watch this little video, you can type in an answer here and hit, I can go blah, 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 whatever, to see if I understand what historians have learned about people over time. And if I click check, it gives me the answer so that you can tell if you're on the right track and if you're understanding things correctly. I can continue to scroll and I get to an interactive timeline where I can click on things. You'll see I can zoom in and out, right? Or I can just go next and it brings me to the next event. So I have this cool timeline. Again, there's a check for understanding built in. Now you'll see I've gotten to the bottom of the page, right? That's not the whole module. That's just the first part of the module. So the next important tool to use is the arrow button. So I'm going to the next part of the module. So this is lesson 1. Gives me the big idea, why it matters now. And again, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. Now it talks about a graphic organizer that you can use to take notes, and you'll see that linked right here. So I can click on that and it lets me type in it, right? So I can keep track of notes if I want online. That's not required. That's just another tool that's built in to help you keep track of what you're reading. A couple other things, obviously you can go ahead and continue to scroll through. Anytime there is a bold word, you can click on it and it's going to give you the pronunciation. You can listen to that audio. There's pictures, right? So it just keeps going through. Now, I would recommend that you utilize the Contents tab over here. So this panel is going to open, and this is going to allow you to jump around. So maybe you already read Lesson 1 and half of Lesson 2, and you come back in. First of all, it should save your spot. It should auto bookmark to where you were. But if you want to jump around from one thing to the next without having to page through every single page, this is what you want to use. You are also able to jump to different modules from here. All right, so that's a useful tool, and you can close that just by clicking on the contents again. You'll also see there are some tools built in up here. First of all, you have your bookmark, right? So you can add a bookmark there. You can also add a note, so you can annotate and type things in, and it will save it. If you are someone who understands better by listening rather than reading, you can play the audio.
Geography can affect historiography.
Okay, and then you can turn it off. You can click on this review, but it's not going to do anything because this isn't set up as a class. The cool thing that I like is that you actually can take notes. So one thing that you can do, I'm actually going to close that out real quick. Let's say I read something that's really important. I can highlight something. From here, I can pick what color I want it to be highlighted in. I can underline it, or I can add a note here. So maybe I have, a thought that I want to jot down, or I have a question about this. And so I can write it right here, save it for later, and that can help you keep track of questions that maybe you want to bring to the e-session then. You have this More button up here, and this is basically just your audio settings. All right, so that is essentially the tour of the textbook. I'm going to close that, and let's say I want to go ahead and go back to some of the resources. So if I'm going to go back one more page, I want you to check out all this stuff that's down here and take this week to really explore. You have your student ebook, which is what I was just showing you. There's also a student edition PDF. If I click on this, I can download a PDF for any single module. Now you may be asking, why would I want to use a PDF when I can just view it online? Well, let's say you are going to go somewhere where you don't have the best connection. You're going to be traveling and you want to read your text in the car, but you're going to be offline. This allows you to save it to your computer. You can download it as a PDF file, and then you can read it offline anytime you want. I also have some students who have said that they find it easier to read through information in a PDF, more of a true traditional textbook-like format, rather than scrolling through the module pages. So if your learning style works better for you to look at it like a textbook in the traditional sense, then you may want to use the PDF. Now you're missing out on some of the interactive things, those checks for understanding. You can't simply click and watch one of the videos. But this does have its benefits, again, for those who prefer to read this way. And you can always bounce back and forth between the two resources as well. The other thing you'll see is that there are reference materials. So if you click here, this is where you will be able to access the atlas and the glossary and some skill builder things regarding reading like a historian, how to interpret, maps. So all sorts of stuff in here. Again, just like we're expecting you to go ahead and explore your courses when you first get into a class by clicking on the buttons, we want you to explore the textbook as well. So really take the time to just dig in and become familiar with layout. And of course, if you have questions about anything, don't hesitate to ask.